Okay, so we need to talk about how a single Instagram post from NingNing of aespa literally sent the internet into a complete and total meltdown. But what's really fascinating is what happened after the initial shock wore off. A new question popped up. Was this just a chaotic moment of oversharing, or was it actually some kind of genius-level masterclass in fan communication? We're going to unpack how one simple photo dump kicked off this huge debate about what it even means to be a celebrity today.
And really, to get a feel for what happened, you just have to look at the immediate aftermath. This reaction, right here, in all its all-caps glory, well, it pretty much sums it up perfectly. This wasn't just a handful of people being surprised. This was like a collective digital gasp from the entire fandom, all happening at once. It's the kind of reaction you only get when something completely shatters everyone's expectations. And that's the central mystery, isn't it? I mean, you gotta wonder. In an industry that's famous for these perfectly crafted images and super managed public personas, what could an idol possibly share on their personal Instagram to cause such a massive, unified, and, let's be honest, chaotic response from a global fan base? Let's unravel this.
All right, so first up, a social media meltdown. We're going to dig into that all-caps reaction from the fans. And seriously, to really grasp the scale of this, just try to picture your entire social media feed basically catching fire in an instant. Everyone, everywhere was trying to process the exact same thing at the exact same time, which just led to this massive wave of pure, unfiltered emotion. These reactions really capture all the different flavors of shock, you know? You've got fans describing it like a classic bait and switch, just casually scrolling through a cute photo dump and then suddenly, boom. Then you have the more, let's call it appreciative shock, still completely stunned by how bold it was. And of course, you have the straight-up, blunt confusion. But the one thing they all have in common? Pure whiplash. So what exactly was the boom that caught everyone so off guard? To find the source of all this chaos, we have to go right back to the beginning, the Instagram post itself. On the surface, it all started out so normal. It was just another day on Idol Instagram. NingNing posted a photo dump, a casual collection of recent pictures for her followers. This is a totally normal, everyday kind of thing that fans love to see. It seemed completely harmless. And this is exactly where everything changed. Tucked away between all the other standard photos were these selfies. It was that sudden shift in tone, the intimacy of it, that just caught everyone off guard. One second, you're looking at a cute, everyday picture, and the next, you're seeing something way more personal and candid. This was the visual that sparked that massive online firestorm. But the story doesn't stop with just shock and awe. Nope, this is where things take a really fascinating turn. Very soon after the initial meltdown, a super clever fan theory started going around, and it completely reframed the whole event. It went from being a random, bold post to something that might have been, well, much more calculated. Okay, this timeline is absolutely key to understanding the fan theory. So back in October, a full month before any of this happened, a fan was admiring an outfit NingNing wore. They weren't focused on the dress itself, but on what was underneath it. They tweeted about how seamless her bra looked and wondered what brand it could be. Now, fast forward a month to November, and bam, NingNing posts these very specific selfies. The theory is that these two events are directly connected.
And this tweet right here is basically the moment the fan theory just clicked into place for everyone. It sums it up perfectly. The idea is that NingNing, or maybe someone on her team, saw that really niche month-old conversation online, that one specific question about her bra, and just decided to answer it. But not with a comment or by tagging a brand, but with a picture. She gave the fans the info they were curious about without saying a single word.
So what we're left with are two completely different ways of looking at the exact same post. The initial story was all about shock, a seemingly random and brazen move that had everyone asking, what is she doing? But the fan theory just flips the whole script. It reframes the post as a super clever and subtle piece of fan service. And suddenly, that what is she doing completely transforms into an appreciative, oh, she's helping us out. And this big shift in perspective really builds into a much larger idea. Because here's the thing. Whether the theory is actually true or not, the fact that fans could even come up with it tells us something really profound about the relationship between idols and their fans today. In the past, communication between a star and their fans was mostly a one-way street. But social media has created this incredible direct feedback loop. Fans can talk about their idols, ask questions, analyze the smallest details, and in some cases, the idols are actually listening and responding. This whole incident, or at least the theory about it, is a perfect example of that loop in action. This whole thing ties right back to the concept of fan service. Traditionally, that might mean something like waving to a specific camera or making a little heart shape with your hands during a concert. But this situation, it suggests a new evolution of that idea, like a digital kind of fan service, where an idol is so in tune with the online conversations that they can respond to even the tiniest fan question in a really creative and subtle way. So, in the end, we're probably never going to get an official confirmation. But the truth of whether this was deliberate or just a wild coincidence, it almost doesn't matter. What's really important here is that the relationship between stars and fans has become so interactive that a simple post can be transformed from a shock into a service. It reveals a really modern reality. The story isn't just what the star posts, it's the meaning that the fans create together.